I was standing in the kitchen when the suitcase wheels rattled against the tiles. That sound, cheap plastic over cracked ceramic, was the drum roll to a life collapsing. My mother's voice followed, light and careless, still scented with airports and duty-free perfume. Then, silence. A gasp, a whisper that tried to become denial and failed. No, this can't be happening. I didn't turn around. I didn't need to. I had rehearsed this moment in my head for years. Every breath, every word I wouldn't say, every truth I would let speak for itself. I was 11 when she left me, and this was the bill coming due. They called it a fresh start. My mother and her husband, my stepfather, stood in the hallway with passports in their hands and excitement leaking out of them like champagne foam. "Europe," my mother said, smiling like she was doing me a favor by leaving. "A month, maybe a little more. You'll be fine." She hugged me quickly, distracted, already half gone. He didn't hug me at all. They put a $20 bill on the kitchen counter, flat, intentional, like a tip. "This should cover food," he said. I remember staring at that green rectangle. $20, 31 days, an 11-year-old body that still needed milk, bread, warmth. The door closed behind them. The lock clicked. That sound stayed with me longer than they did. At first, I thought it was a mistake. Adults make mistakes, right? They forget things. They come back. I waited 3 days before touching the money. 3 days of pretending hunger was temporary, that being alone was a game. By day 4, the fridge was empty. By day 6, I learned how to make rice last longer by adding water and lying to myself. Neighbors noticed eventually. They always do. Mrs. Klein from next door brought soup. Mr. Ortega asked questions with his eyes, not his mouth. Child services came once. I learned to smile. I learned to say, "They'll be back soon." I learned that survival requires performance. The betrayal wasn't just abandonment, it was discovery. Week 2, I checked the mail like a ritual. Bills, ads, no postcards, no letters. Week 3, I used the landline to call my mother's phone number. It rang, then voicemail. Her voice was relaxed, happy, sunlit. "Hi, we're traveling right now. Leave a message." Traveling, while I counted pennies. That's when something hardened inside me. Not anger, clarity. I wasn't forgotten. I was dismissed. When they finally came back, I didn't run to them. I didn't cry. I didn't accuse. I watched. I watched how my stepfather scanned the house first, checking for consequences. I watched how my mother avoided my eyes, guilt trying and failing to find a place to land. They asked questions. I gave short answers. Yes, no. I ate. They believed me. They always underestimated silence. That was the first lesson. If someone thinks you're powerless, they stop guarding themselves. Years passed. I grew. I learned. They forgot the month they left me. People like that always do. But I didn't. I remembered every empty morning, every night I slept in my clothes because heat cost money, every kindness from strangers that tasted like shame. I remembered the $20 bill, and slowly, carefully, I planned. Revenge isn't rage. Rage is loud. Revenge is patient. I became useful, obedient, invisible. I learned how money moved through the house. I learned passwords before they knew I was watching. I learned which lies my mother told herself to sleep at night. "He's good with finances," she'd say about him. "He takes care of everything." She trusted him. That was my way in. By 16, I knew where every account was. By 18, I knew which signatures were forged and which were legal. I didn't steal. I didn't sabotage. I documented. Screenshots, copies, dates, affairs disguised as business trips, tax evasions masked as clever accounting, funds shifted just enough to look like mistakes. I built a timeline so clean it could cut skin. All the while, I smiled. I played the grateful child, the survivor story they liked to tell their friends. "She's so strong," my mother would say. "You'd never know what she went through." I would nod, because strength to them was endurance, not memory. The plan wasn't to destroy them both. Only one deserved the fall. My stepfather, the architect of neglect, the man who calculated my worth in 20s. My mother's punishment would be something else, truth. I waited until the timing was perfect. He applied for a promotion that required financial transparency, background checks, audits. I mailed my documentation anonymously, clean, professional, impossible to ignore. Then I waited. Investigations take time. Fear works faster. He started snapping, drinking more, blaming my mother for stress she didn't understand. Cracks appeared. I widened them with silence. The day they returned from another trip, this time together, I was already home. The house looked different, bare, organized. The walls were stripped of his expensive art, the safe was open, legal orders taped neatly to the fridge. When my mother walked in, her breath caught. No, this can't be happening. I turned then. I watched realization crawl across her face as she saw the evidence laid out like a courtroom exhibit, not accusations, proof. She looked at me like she was seeing me for the first time, not as a child, as a witness. He arrived 10 minutes later, confidence first, then confusion, then terror. The sound he made when he understood, when he realized the house was no longer his fortress, was almost polite. He tried to speak. I raised one finger. "No," I said, "just that." For once, he listened. The authorities came, then lawyers, then silence. He lost the promotion, then the company, then the marriage. My mother sat across from me that night, smaller than I remembered her ever being. "I didn't know," she said. I let the words sit between us. "You didn't look," I replied. That was the difference. I didn't feel joy watching him fall. I felt alignment, like a scale finally balancing. I moved out soon after, not out of anger, out of completion. My mother calls sometimes. We talk carefully now. Truth changes relationships. Sometimes that's the price. I still think about the $20, not with bitterness, with precision. Because that bill taught me something no one else did. Neglect isn't loud. It doesn't scream. It assumes you'll disappear quietly. I didn't. I learned. I waited. I remembered. And when the moment came, I let reality do what it does best. I stood still and let them see what they left behind.